Yeah, good morning. Nice to meet you all. My name is Andreas Winardi from UKDW Jogja, Indonesia. Today I'm going to talk about building collaboration among Asian countries, understanding cultural similarities and differences. As we all know, now we live in a global world, and with advancement in technology, it is easier for us to connect with people from all over the world. Like this Zoom, yeah, we can meet people from South Africa, we can meet people from Japan, and so on. Not only we can meet via Zoom, but also many people decided to study, work, and live in foreign countries. When people live in another country, it is important for them to learn the culture of that place, to adapt and to adjust. Failing to understand other cultures will result in misunderstanding, awkward situation, or even the end of a relationship. In the study, I would like to use Hofstede's six cultural dimensions, namely, first, power distance index, second, individualism versus collectivism, uncertainty avoidance, next, masculinity versus femininity, long-term orientation versus short-term orientation, and indulgence versus restraint. Okay, I would like to explain this one by one. The first is power distance index. If a country has a high power distance index, it means that they openly accept boss as a higher authority and therefore deserve respect and authority. While low power distance index means that boss or supervisor is considered as equals. So if you have a low power distance index, it is common for you to call your boss by the name, yeah, or use the informal language, hi boss, or hi Jim, yeah, and so on. The second one is individualism versus collectivism. Individualism means decision and acts can be made individually, while collectivism, individual is member of the group and the group takes care of its individual members. Usually, individual consult or discuss the group before making decisions. So this is collectivism. Yeah, and then the next one is uncertainty avoidance. The high uncertainty avoidance means appreciate clear instruction, tend to avoid conflict or competition, while low uncertainty avoidance means people are more willing to take risks, yeah, or thinking outside the box is valued. So if you have a high uncertainty avoidance, you just follow the instruction like A, B, C, D, and then I will follow that, and then I tend to avoid conflict. While when I as a low uncertainty avoidance society, I'm willing to take more risks. I don't know the result yet, but I'm willing to try. And then the masculinity society versus femininity society. High masculinity society means focuses more on what is considered as masculine values like performance, ambitions, and success. While low masculinity society focuses more on what is considered as feminine values like concern for all, relationship, and harmony. Number five, long-term orientation versus short-term orientation. Long-term orientation means focuses on the distant future by delaying short-term success. So in Japan, for example, or in Indonesia, people work in a company for a long time, yeah, and then after that they get pension fund. And then short-term orientation means focuses on the near future, emphasizing the present. So short-term, if I am not satisfied with my company, I can move to other company. And then the last one is indulgence versus restraint. Indulgence means society allows relatively free gratification related to having fun in life, while restraint, society suppresses gratification and regulates it through social norm. So supposing I achieve something and I can have a party at the pub and invite my boss, my colleagues to have fun together. But in resident society, I cannot do that because the norm of the society is not allow me to do a party or going to the pub or something like that. Now, I would like to show you the comparison of six cultural dimensions among Indonesia, the Philippines, and Malaysia. Indonesia PDI 78, the Philippines PDI 94, Malaysia, full score, PDI 100, yeah, power distance index. And then for individualism, Indonesia is 14, the Philippines 32, Malaysia 26. For masculinity, Indonesia 46, the Philippines 64, Malaysia 50, yeah, in the middle. And then uncertainty avoidance score, Indonesia 48, the Philippines 44, and Malaysia 36. And then for long-term orientation, Indonesia 62, the Philippines 27, and Malaysia 41. While indulgence, Indonesia scored 38, the Philippines 42, Malaysia 57. Now let's talk a little bit about that. As can be seen from the table, the three countries have high power distance index. It means that the workers tend to consider the boss as the person of higher authority and not consider him or her as equal. In Indonesia, for example, it is uncommon for us to call the boss by the name. Yeah, we have to respect him or her, and then we have to talk using formal language. And then for the second one, in terms of collectivism, those countries are also similar in terms of collectivism. The people in Indonesia, the Philippines, and Malaysia tend to make decisions collectively. Yeah, tend to have a consensus. We tend to negotiate something. We tend to discuss something together as a team. And then in terms of masculinity, Indonesia has the lowest score, 46. Malaysia is in the middle, 50. And the Philippines is slightly high, 64. As an Indonesian, I observe that people in my country appreciate feminine values such as living in harmony, care for others, more than masculine values such as ambition, performance, success, and so on. Now, I would like to discuss the result of Hofstede's research on uncertainty avoidance score. In my opinion, it is quite anomaly because those three countries got low score in uncertainty avoidance score. Yeah, okay. So based on my observation and experience, Indonesians tend to avoid risk and prefer to avoid competition. So it is a kind of unique findings. So based on the findings, Indonesia is considered as the society with long-term orientation, 62, while the Philippines and Malaysia are considered as the society with short-term orientation, 27 and 41. Lastly, Indonesia and the Philippines have low score in indulgence, 38 and 42, while Malaysia scores 57. Yeah, for the conclusion, yeah, the first step to build collaboration among Asian countries is to understand the cultural similarities and differences. Hofstede's framework may be one of the tools that can be used to get an initial knowledge about those issues. It should be noted, however, that whenever possible, we should check or confirm the data by interviewing the native people or by doing observation. So we can observe first whether the people have the power distance index, whether they call the boss by the name or not, or whether they consider the supervisor as equal. So we need to adjust and adapt then. So this is my presentation about the culture. I hope that later we can use this as a starting point to build a collaboration between us. So supposing we can work together, yeah, I hope that we can do a joint research, or maybe later you can visit my country, Indonesia, and we can learn, we can talk about the culture together. So I think this is enough for my presentation, and I believe that this is just the beginning. We can still expand on the studies. We can dig deeper, maybe using another framework. Yeah, okay, not only Hofstede, but also another researcher that has studied on the culture. So hopefully this will be the starting point for us also to work together so that we can collaborate and achieve something together, and we can do something together, because alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. And if we work as a team, yeah, okay, the team stand for together, everyone achieve more. So hopefully this conference will be the starting point for us. Thank you very much.